Hi guys, my name is Ryan Dunford with Horizon Hobby. Today we're going to talk about our new TLR 8XE vehicle. Alright, well before we get into the 8XE, we want to talk about the 8X because so many parts on these two cars are shared today. Front clip, center diff, rear clip, all shared on the two cars. So as you can see on the 8XE, we use all of the same front clip part, which includes the longer arms, the narrower pivots, the new shocks. We've got a new front shock tower, all new steering geometry, just everything that's been fully optimized for providing a lot more natural steering out of the vehicle, so you're not forcing the car around the track. That's pace, and also optimized to handle all the bumps, rough tracks. The rear clip on the vehicle, again, you get the narrower pivots, you get the longer rear arms, you get the more offset rear hub, the new shocks, the new tower, basically the all-new rear end geometry as well with this vehicle. That really helps the vehicle just keep the rear end behind the front end, makes the car flow a lot better around a turn, and again, the rear end, all bump handling. It seems to be very prevalent on today's track. And then as far as the center diff goes, it uses the same center diff, slightly different spur gear for the gearing of an E-Buggy versus a nitro car. Another similar feature that's used on the 8XE that comes straight from the 8X, again, along the lines of sharing parts with vehicles, is the full radio box, so the item that holds the servo, the receiver, or in this case the battery box, and actually the body. The bodies are identical between the two. You just have the cutouts for the engine and the fuel tank here, and here you don't. Alright, another new feature on the 8XE that you can see here, let's pull off the body, is the way that we mount the motor. Completely different than what we've done in the past. Yeah, one of the primary reasons, again, that we mounted this directly to the chassis is the spur and pinion gear in the past with the motor essentially leveraged off of that center diff. You'd land and the motor would go this way as the chassis would flex, and so the teeth of the pinion and the spur would essentially ratchet against each other. Now they stay in line very well on hard landings, things like that, so the drivetrain stays nice and smooth, and your spur gear and pinion gear last a lot longer. It also allowed us to do the same split center diff very easily. 4 screws, pull that out, you have a diff in your hands. And you don't have to move the motor, nothing like that. And then also, as you see, we got a different spur gear. It's a 46.2 spur gear on the vehicle now, and it does come with a steel spur gear, versus in the past we've included typically a plastic spur gear with our electric vehicles. Also, you can pull this right off and flip the diff right around, put that right back down, and then you're set up to be able to run our E-clutch as well on this. So for the outdoor racers, a lot of them like the E-clutch. It allows you to run that on there as well. Alright, along the lines of the electronics of the vehicle, let's turn this around so you can see this other side here. We have the battery mounted directly to the chassis with our Velcro, which makes the battery very easy to get in and out. We've also allowed for a great deal of movement forward and backward, but as you can see, the battery is front mounted. We don't have an option any longer to mount it in the rear. We found pretty much everywhere you went, you wanted it in the front in the past. And then along the lines of the electronics, the ESC is now sitting on an ESC tray. It's a plastic tray, goes in with 3 screws from the top. Makes it really easy if you want to clean this up. You pull the 3 screws out and now your ESC is in your hand, or if you want to swap a chassis, something along those lines, you're not pulling off double-sided tape, re-sticking it down, things along those lines. Alright, now that we're done talking about some of the 8XE specific items, let's go over a couple of the items that both cars share, a couple additional items. We have turnbuckles in which we shorten the metal part, lengthen the plastic, so that you get a stronger setup but with less weight, because weight was something that was important on this vehicle. We've got a new steering Ackerman setup that allows for more precise steering with our elastomer bushing, that allows for a very solid feeling servo saver that you always feel like you have center, but yet you feel like you're protecting the servo. You've got the equalized drivetrain between the two, front and rear now, which is something that's helped the car to have just much more four-wheel drive feeling. And then we also put longer chassis braces in to just help stiffen up the whole vehicle, to just make it more consistent from track to track. Alright, and just to be clear, this vehicle, the only carryover items from the older vehicles that transitioned over are the differentials. The differentials were always a metric item, and this car is metric now versus standard, so this car is all metric, it's all new. But the diff cups, the diff drive gears internally, they're all the same. The front and rear outdrives are different now on this vehicle. The center outdrives are the same. Everything else is the same. And the other thing about this vehicle that's really nice is all the diffs come out much easier than before. So working on the vehicle is much easier. The front diff case comes off, the rear diff case splits in half to be able to get the diffs out, and the center diff, 4 screws, pops right out in your hand. Alright, another thing that's similar between the two cars, for the most part, they share a lot of the same option parts. So just to go over some of what we offer, we have aluminum carriers in 17.5 and 20 degrees. We have titanium turnbuckles. We have carbon arm inserts for the front and rear arms. We have an aluminum top plate here. We have an aluminum servo saver top. We have an aluminum servo saver clamping nut. We have an aluminum steering horn. And then specific to this car, we have a carbon top mount for the center differential as well that we're releasing. Also, we have, as mentioned previously, the E-clutch. We also offer 3.5mm shock shafts. The car comes with 4, in case you want the thinner shock shafts for a little less pack up. We offer aluminum rear hubs for the vehicle that have 3 mounting heights instead of just the 2. And then the distance between the wing mounts didn't change from the older cars to the new cars, so you can use either the older wings, or also, just a reminder, we do have the Lexan wing that you can run on the vehicle. One other thing we wanted to mention is the white wheels are just for the box art. It will come with yellow wheels, which is standard tradition here at TLR. And then the other thing is you should be seeing this vehicle early to mid-February 2019, and it'll be available at your local hobby shop or at horizonhobby.com.